Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to talk one last time about this Chinese Eevee Heroes Set. Because one of the things, I've told you about this a few times, right? And one of the things I was always really excited about, one of the things I thought might actually be absolutely worth getting excited about here, was the idea that they would actually have the special illustration rares. That they would actually have them in, so that we could have a look at these and go, yeah, okay, now we can potentially pick these up a little bit cheaper. And I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, that is absolutely what seems to have happened here, and I think this is absolutely wonderful. Now, I know that not all of you are going to be able to go and pick up Chinese cards, etc. I understand that. But look, we went through this before when we talked about the Alola set that they released in China a little while ago. And they had the Friends in Alola promo card. Now, that's a card that over in Japan is thousands and thousands of dollars because it was only released in a special box over in Japan. And basically, that card became impossible to get hold of, at least for a semi-reasonable price. But because we'd never had anything else in terms of a release for this card, it meant that we were kind of out of luck. There was no, oh, it's okay, we'll get it later, or we'll wait for the reprint or any of that. No, it was just gone. But then we had the Alola set releasing in China, and we are talking mainland China here, simplified Chinese. And one of the things that they had there was this Alola Friends in Chinese, which all of a sudden is just so much more available, and then people can actually go and get it. And I've been tagged, I can't find any of them at short notice, I'm really, really sorry, but I've been tagged by a bunch of people basically saying, oh yeah, no, cheers for that, Wassy. Yeah, we got it. Like, we actually managed to get this version in Chinese because we were never finding it in Japanese. Way too expensive. But now that the Chinese version is a thing, we've managed to go and find it. Well, I am very, very, very much hoping that the same kind of thing is happening here. That now that we've got confirmation that we are getting these cards, it means that we can actually get them for a slightly cheaper price. Now, when I say slightly cheaper price, I mean a slightly cheaper price. I don't think these are going to be like $10 cards. And I'm sorry if anybody's expecting these to be $10 cards, because I think you're all going to be a little bit disappointed, unfortunately. But having these cards available in Chinese is going to make a huge difference to a lot of people. Because look, if you want the English version of this card, let's take the Moonbreon as an example. Obviously, the Moonbreon is like the biggest deal here, right? Well, if we have a look at the Moonbreon, for instance, and we look at it on TCG Player, we look at the English version of this card, what do we find? Yeah, it's ridiculously expensive. Trying to find this Umbreon, I mean, look, if you can pick this up for $500, you've done really, really well. We can see over the last year, look, it's gone from $650 down to $490, which is lovely. But then it's crept back up again to $540, and you'll notice the last three solds, $490, yay, but $600 and $560. And you'll notice that there is a little photo next to that one, but it is actually just a regular version of it. It seems, often these are Japanese or whatever. I'm not seeing anything untoward from here. But you're talking about well, like I say, if you can find it for $500, you've done very, very well indeed. This is not ideal. Whereas now, going to try and find the Chinese version, you're probably going to have a little bit better luck. And if you're looking for the Japanese version of this card, I hate to say it to you, ladies and gentlemen, but you're not exactly going to have a huge amount better luck here either. I mean, over on Card Rush, it's sitting there at 278,000 yen. Now, I'm also fully aware that most of you probably don't work in yen, yeah? So, if we translate that to US dollars, we find that it comes in at 1,850. So actually, if you're a Japanese fan and you're trying to pick up this card, you can look at this and go, oh, might try and pick up the English version. It's less than a third of the price. And that's kind of the point here. This is a very, very, very expensive card. The Japanese version has gone to ridiculous levels. The English version has gone to ridiculous levels. Now there's a Chinese version. Is the Chinese version going to end up being super cheap? No! Obviously it's not going to end up being super cheap. Nobody's arguing that this is going to end up being a super cheap card, alright? Nobody thinks that. Everyone knows this is going to be a ridiculously expensive card. But is it going to be $1,850? Probably not. Is it going to be over $500? At least initially, probably not. And that's kind of a point here. It makes things so much easier. And I adore that. I absolutely adore that. It's one of the best things about these sets coming out in Chinese. Like, don't get me wrong, you get extra cool stuff. So if we look at this, it's actually a double set coming out in China. So we've got it's kind of 9 colours gathering and stuff, but basically there's a double set. And one set is essentially Eevee Heroes, and the other set is essentially Fusion Strike. And obviously one of them is going to be more popular than the other. But it's not just that you get all these fancy cards. I should say, in terms of a release date here, they come out on the 1st of March, so they're going to be dropping very, very soon. And there's a bunch of extra merch. There's an Eevee Heroes playmat featuring brand new artwork that we never had for Evolving Skies and Japan never had for Eevee Heroes. And it's brand new, never before seen artwork they're popping on a playmat. It's awesome. We've also got that artwork on sleeves, on a storage box, on a half a binder. The other half of the binder is a Fusion Strike, and it's actually a reversible binder, which is really quite cool. So you kind of turn it upside down, and it's really fun, right? Because it always looks like the front no matter which side you're looking at. It's nice. So that's a little bonus for getting these sets. But I told you at the outset that one of the best things about having this was going to be the idea that we could actually have these cards coming in significantly cheaper. That was going to be one of the best things about this, and it seems like that is exactly what is actually happening, and I think that's absolutely wonderful. Take another example. Let's take the Leafeon. The Leafeon is done by Hayaganosuke, and of course Hayaganosuke is awesome, one of my favourite artists. Well, if we have a look over on TCG Player, Leafeon VMAX, very expensive card. It's coming in, it's around about $150 to $160 right now. It is frankly getting a bit ridiculous. Makes me a bit sad. I love this card, I want this card, and as it stands at the moment, yeah, it's getting unaffordable. Over in Japan, we can go and look at the same site we looked at before, and Leafeon comes in at pretty much dead on 50,000 yen. Yes, I'm rounding up from 49,800, and I don't feel bad about it. Anyone want to know what that is in dollars? Yes, $332. I'm rounding it. It's $332.45. I'm rounding it up to $333 because that will make me happy. So once again, these Japanese versions of these cards are actually significantly more expensive than the English. The English are getting ridiculous and expensive and making us all sad. And the silly thing is that the English versions are actually the cheap ones right now. And as a side note, China keeps doing this. I showed you the Friends in Alola. I also showed you the other day that the Project Piplup promo. And look, I know that Project Piplup promo is not an expensive card, alright? It's never really been a terribly expensive card. So I'm not talking about this one as a look, it's so expensive, go and buy it now. And they did take the Project Piplup stamp off it, and that actually makes me super sad. But this is a promo which was like a really specific Japanese promo which never got released, as far as I am aware, never got released anywhere else. And look, you can pick it up for $5 on eBay. So my argument isn't, hey, look, it's ridiculously expensive, go and pick up the Chinese version while you can. My point is, China keeps getting these cards that are seemingly gone. Friends in Alola, this Piplup, the Eevees at sensible prices. Like, there are websites, and there's a bunch of reseller websites. They're very easy to find. I'm not showing you any because I'm not affiliated with any, but there are a bunch that are very easy to find that are selling packs of this set for a semi-reasonable price, in a way that you're just not going to find packs of Evolving Skies right now. At least boxes of Evolving Skies. Single packs you can still get decently enough, to be fair, but you're not really getting boxes for anything less than ridiculous prices. My point here is very simple. We saw it happen with Chinese cards before, and we may well see it happening with Chinese cards again, and it's happening right now as we speak with these cards, and all I can say is I highly, highly, highly recommend that if these are cards you're looking for, have a look at the Chinese version. And look, if you're really specifically, I want the English version, I don't want the Chinese version, well, there's your answer, all right? But if you don't mind about the version, firstly, these are cool. Secondly, this is probably not the only time this is going to happen. You have been warned. Right, there we go. That's what you need to know. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about all of these. Tell me if you would be looking to pick up Chinese cards or whether they're just too different. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel, like the lovely Kiridan, who's been a supporter of ours for quite a long time now and seems to be a very lovely person. So shout-out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.